Good evening, friends. Welcome to the session with Drishtikon Desh Kapoor. Welcome, Desh.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Meena. It's
Yeah,
always great to come here.
yeah. Very nice to have you with us. As usual, I mean, we get a lot of feedback whenever we feature you, and it's always so much of positive feedback.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
yeah. So today, Desh, we'll expose the Rajdeep Sardesai's. Of course, see, there's a lot of media involved. So in he, so you can also say that he symbolizes certain media. And today we'll expose his hypocrisy in protecting Soros by calling him a 94-year-old US billionaire. And so let's just go to that tweet of his. So he says a 94-year-old US billionaire is destabilizing a powerful country like India. Really? It's called WMD, politics, weapon of mass destruction. When you don't want to or can't answer the questions of the day, bring in the ubiquitous foreign hand, old trick, new players. So this is what he has tweeted, and there are many other things, Desh, that people do not actually trust in him, and everybody knows when Rajdeep, sort of tweets, or even when he's on a channel, you have to believe it not with a pinch of salt, but with a bag of salt. So before we start,
That's
before we start, Desh, I just like to say a few things about his past and how people tend to forget it. So
mm,
in 2007, Rajdeep Sardesai, he aired a program on CNN IBN claiming that Sorabuddin encounter was fake. Then in 2008, he was awarded the Padma Shri by Sonia Gandhi. In 2010, Amit Shah was arrested in the Sorabuddin case and he spent 3 months in jail. He was acquitted in 2014 as it was a fake case. Now, 2018 courts declare Sorabuddin case as false. Everyone is acquitted, and many had their careers ruined and spent years in jail because of this. Now, in 2020, Rajdeep and 10 other journalists apologized in court for fake reporting in 2007. And 2024, Rajdeep is tweeting about misuse of agencies to settle political scores and calls others Godi media. And his wife, Sagarika Ghosh, as we all know, has joined TMC. And then, when the husband is not tweeting, this lady starts tweeting on Mamta Banerjee's behalf. So this is the kind, a kind of background to Rajdeep's, kind of reporting and what he tries to project. So let's
right.
start with this, Desh. You've been writing a blog on this, and let's just take it from there, and then in between, I'll just give some pointers.
Right. See, they say that, an honest politician, and I'll change it, an honest journalist is the one who, when bought, stays bought. So I wrote in my, post on X that, Rajdeep Sardesai is like the journalistic son papri. Like one guy buys and he just keeps sharing it with everyone else and giving it to everyone else. So he's that kind of a guy. I don't think he has like any integrity. And as Warren Buffett once said, if you have integrity, nothing else matters. And if you do not have integrity, nothing else matters. So that is his problem, that he has absolutely no integrity in what he does. He has a certain agenda that he keeps running. At the same thing, I mean, anybody, all those journalists, and he was one of the top ones. He, Barkhadat, and Rana Ayub, who actually went ahead and did what they did, like about 2002 in Gujarat, and everybody knows what the truth was. uh, no court, no forum has been able to, like legal forum, has been able to indict or like do anything against Modi ji. So the thing is that in all these years, Rajdeep Sardesai was peddling falsehoods. Not once did he ever talk about all the stuff, all the shenanigans of say Tista Sidalwad or other people who were like dishing out falsehoods after falsehood. People made careers out of it, as did Rajdeep Sardesai. So that has been his journey all along, and that has been his like mojo and a credo, the way he has worked. So that is his like biggest problem all through. Now, as far as this claim about him being 94-year-old billionaire is concerned, I mean, so what? Even Warren Buffett is, like 90 plus. His one quote, impacts so much. In fact, like if he buys just like one stock, people start buying stock after him. And as far as Soros is concerned, just a few months back, he had pledged $1 billion to fight against, Modi and a few others. His money speaks. He has a network of organizations, and it's not just a network of one or two organizations. It is across the board, right? So to say that he is just a 94-year-old billionaire is nonsense. Like it like may sell to his own crowd, but it doesn't sell to anyone else. Soros has Open Society Foundations, OCCRP, and uh, like hundreds of other, NGOs. Um, like if you really go around and like look, there was this, uh, like New Yorker had an article like which was very interesting actually. In that article, there was this American. The bureaucrat who was asked like about the impact of this guy, George Soros, and he said that George Soros is the only person in America who has a foreign policy and can execute it. And then somebody went to Assistant Secretary of State, and the same reporter of New Yorker, and he went to Strobe Talbot, and he said, and he relayed that same quote from that other person, and he said, yeah, it is true actually, because the foreign policy of like US is actually aligned with the foreign policy of that George Soros follows. And it's not a joke, right? Like what we are talking about is something totally different. Like it's not just a uh, like just anybody, right? In fact, Talbot actually called him a national treasure. He said he's actually a national resource who works with the U.S. government, and it's not a small thing the way like he has worked. Whether it is International Renaissance Foundation, whether it's the Open Society Foundation. In fact, the entire stuff that has happened in Ukraine. In fact, George Soros writes in on his own website. He said, "I entered Ukraine in 1990, and I have invested in Ukraine since 1990." He has invested money in the Ukrainian politics since 1990, and the Orange Revolution that happened, that was financed by U.S. aid, IRF, which is International Renaissance Foundation, and Freedom House, and like basically George Soros is this thing. In fact, there was this very interesting, in DC leaks, like there was this, whole like expose where they said, well, uh, this George Soros and few of his organizations were there talking to George Pyatt, who was the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, and he almost handed over the entire U.S. foreign policy in Ukraine to Soros, and he was the one who said how he needs to like get the right kind of people in, have the right kind of leadership in, and whatever he needed to do. So whether it was the Orange Revolution in 2004 or the Euro Maidan in 2014, uh, like that's how he has kept on working. And it's not that George Soros gone and the entire network is gone. Alex Soros is there. He is the heir, and he has been working behind the scenes with so many other people and so many other things. It is like we have to understand, this is not just one person. It is a system. It is a system that works.
Yeah.
This
So
system.
here, yeah. So it's something that we've been seeing over the years. Every time that Rahul Vinci has been traveling, he's been meeting people connected very closely with Soros. Here you see he's traveling with Amrit Singh. Now, she's the Director of Accountability, Liberty and Transparency of Open Society Justice Initiative, a project which is funded by George Soros. And if you look at this image, you'll find that all these people, they work very similar to a Soros gang, who are working to destroy India and to attack Modi ji all the time. And the farmers' protest is just one of these examples of what they've been using to destroy India. Now, if you go back to the fact, Desh, see what is it that Soros really wants, and what is his agenda?
Yeah, see, in terms of how Soros works, like we have to see that his like main agenda is to actually have control over the countries that he targets. So whether it was the Malaysian economy or it was the Bank of England at that time, and even like if you look at the United States, most of the judiciary, he has actually infiltrated most of the judiciary. Forget about judiciary. He has infiltrated even the intelligence agencies here in the US. So, so it's not a small thing. I mean, like he likes to work through all sorts of different, organizations. And I'm not just making it up. In fact, like recently, he bought like entire company which owns, I don't remember, I think around 200 radio stations in the US. So so basically, like he looks, looks at media, he looks at the judiciary, the legal side, the NGO side, and tries to take over as much as possible. So that, see, ultimately it is about control. The more they can control society, the more they can like make things happen for themselves, and that is the sad part, right? Because they don't like, and like this is common to most of the deep state. See, whether it was Rockefeller or it was Rothschild or it is George Soros, the billionaires, the way they work is always the same. That they want to control as much as possible, and they keep investing in each other's areas as well, and keep boosting each other's investments and work. But Soros is like his ways are very very different in some ways. One, like he's quite overt also. He has that bug in him that after some, like initially he was very he used to downplay. There was like one time, actually this was a point of discussion also in one of the articles in New Yorker or something like that, where they said, so why is he coming out so much? And the reason was that he felt more and more confident now because there was nobody who could challenge him around here. So, so within the US, there are not very many, politicians or even like business people who are like going to, challenge him. And like it is not about like religion. It is not about, any like nationalism. Like it is about power and control and also profits. The reason why US has become the hub for all these people is because US wields so much of power. US can go and demolish and destroy a country on whim. And that is like what it has done everywhere, even Syria and earlier Iraq and Libya and all those places, right? So that is where like Soros is a little different from Rothschild and like Rockefellers, because Rothschilds and Rockefellers, like those people are the ones who work under the radar, under the surface. It's very tough to find out like where all they are working. But Soros has been quite open in the sense that his organizations have been working uh, like throughout, and people know. And like Open Society Foundation that he has like has been proliferating everywhere, and like it is out there on his like websites also. I mean, like whatever I'm saying about George Soros entering here, like Ukraine, like it is not someone else who was saying it. It's on georgesoros.com. You can just go and check it. So it's as blatant as that.
So,
Uh,
so Desh,
right.
when you say, if Rothschild works from, discreetly and he is more open, is there some link between the Illuminati and the deep state?
Uh, I don't see. Actually, I wrote a very detailed newsletter like this time, and like I don't like to call them Illuminati or like Illuminati or those kind of words. But there are all these people actually work together, and there is very like whether it is Bilderberg group, or it is uh, you know like other groups, that Council of 13, Crown Council of 13, Committee of 300, Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, Club of Rome. And in fact, one of the place they say that World Economic Forum is a daughter organization of Club of Rome.
Hmm.
And people talk about Illuminati, but I I don't have a whole lot of like evidence about like those kind of like efforts, so I don't talk much. But there are other organizations, Chatham House. Chatham House came up with a Chatham House rule where like you have free and frank discussions in those forums. You can listen to them, but you cannot reveal the identity of who spoke and what they said. You can use that information. And so if you like, and there are roundtable groups like which happen even now. So all these organizations. So if you look, there is a global elite, Crown Council and the Committee of 300, and then they have the strategic think tanks, right, and the secretive forums. So you have Chatham House in terms of think tanks, Council on Foreign Relations. On the other side, you have secretive forums like a Bilderberg group and roundtable groups and all that. And then comes to operational like organizations like IMF, WEF, United Nations, and World Bank. And then based on what has already been set up in terms of like larger policies from the global elite, and then strategic like discussions that brought out the stuff, they permeate down to the lower level for the operational organization, and then they come to the national level actors. In national level actors, they have intelligence agencies, media conglomerates, and based on that, they go down even further on the local level. They have universities, NGOs, grassroots organizations. So then so now if you look at this whole thing, and if you go back to how Soros's organizations are working and how he and other people have been there. See, Bilderberg group, like if you really see, uh, they have some very interesting like participants. Like when you look at the like who all went, like it is very interesting that Bill Clinton, Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel, Emmanuel Macron, Tony Blair, they all went to Bilderberg group meetings just a year before they were elected. Just a year before, all of them, and they have been doing like whatever was required for those people. Like Satya Nadella has been there. people like Arvind Subramaniam, who was a chief economic advisor to Government of India, until 2018. Fareed Zakaria. So all these people have been there, and so it's a very like it's a
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So very interesting what you're saying. It's they are like an octopus with so many tentacles all over. Now,
right.
something that people have not really connected with, but of course, people, writers like you would know, is that in India, the things that make us strong are Sanatan Dharma, you have the businessmen, the business, corporate world, and of course, you have the strong leaders as well. So now, if you were to look a little back, Desh, you will see that a lot of our gurus, we're talking about everybody from Nityananda to Asaram, all these people, even, also all of them. They were targeted. And at that time, I remember when I was discussing with these people, they would say, it's the deep state. You know. And the very fact that, see, what is the foundation of India? It is Sanatana Dharma. And these people were very, very passionate about what they were teaching to the followers. And they had a very huge following. So that's one group, and they were harassed. I know in detail how, for example, Swami Nityananda was. He had to escape from India. Nobody even stood with him. So I know him. It's been inside out. They have discussed everything with me, and they would keep telling me it is the deep state. So police in Gujarat harassing them, all this sort of thing. Second thing is also why Adani has been targeted. So you're talking about a corporate world who is making India very, very strong. And here also you'll see constantly. I mean, when you see videos of Rahul Gandhi, using these masks to show Adani and Modi and all, you see how low they have become. If you want to attack Adani, then why aren't you attacking other people like Ambani and all, who you've been using extensively for your travel and whatnot? Okay, your focus is only on Adani. So that's another thing. The corporate, world who makes India a success. Then you have leaders like Modi ji, who are being targeted continuously. Now, one thing, Desh, is that it's not only, we are not talking about only Sardesai. There are so many people who are, media, who is, constantly supporting the Soros group. Whether it is from south or north or east or west, these people have made it their profession to support Soros. And they do it all under the garb of they are authors, so they give them importance, by a book coming out, and they are, given some sort of an award. And then you think, oh, this lady is an intellectual, or that man is an intellectual, so let's not touch him. So when he says something, these are beads of wisdom. So they, prop these people up in such a way in society that we cannot question them.
Right.
And then what happens is every year when we expose what they're doing, then we realize the link to these Soros and the other foundations that you speak about. So tell
Hmm.
me something. Recently, Desh, these people, you will be surprised that people like let me just get the picture on. So you're talking about Karan Thapar and Rajdeep Sardesai discussing nothing but ethics in journalism. They themselves are the propaganda brothers, who are using, who are constantly attacking India, and they discuss, they say that in journalism there is no ethics and all that. So who do they think will believe this sort of discussion? Because everybody knows, they've been a part of it right from the beginning. In fact, Karan Thapar has been snubbed by many, politicians, many leaders. So how is it so easy, Desh, for people like Soros to, get into our, the journalistic fraternity and buy these people?
See, it's very easy. There was this guy, who was I think, one of the directors of Directorate K, like, KGBs. So he was, saying, I think in 1980s, that India is on sale. Anyone can come and buy anyone. So almost everybody in the political and the journalistic uh, entire arena were on sale basically. They would write things which were which backed certain groups, whether it was communists or whether it was America or whoever their masters were. So it was so sometimes CIA like would not trust their people whom they were buying, because KGB would come and buy some them for something else. So like all these people like have a legacy of a family of families who actually duped and hurt India. Many people like may not know, but Kunj Bihari Thapar, who was the grandfather of Karan Thapar, had donated 1.75 lakhs to the fund of Punjab governor Michael and Dwyer, like the guy who backed the Jallianwala Bagh. So these are those kind of families who profited. Uh, he they profited from the atrocities on Indians by the British. They were the ones who used to get all the benefits there. And when as soon as India got independent, these are the people who were put on like places of power, and they behave as if they have really done a whole lot to save India, when it was the exact opposite. They are the ones who were running, the entire show all these years. And now, like when other people are getting, opportunity to speak, people like Vivek Devroy, right, who was like one of the most amazing intellectuals of our lifetime. He was actually sidelined because his larger political thought, did not align with the Congress thought. So that is how it had worked. The problem, when they say that there is no freedom of expression, or like freedom of speech is gone, like it is not as if their freedom of speech is gone. They can still speak whatever they have to say. Their problem is that other people have also gotten the freedom of speech, which they had always silenced. So their barometer of freedom of speech is actually judged by how much other people can speak now, and their entire shenanigans are put down. The only reason why like Modi ji came to power in 2014 was because like of the fact that he used the social media and bypassed the entire mainstream media. The mainstream media was going on and on about like all his stuff, which was all false about 2002. I mean, I really looked at it in detail, and I now Sabarmati report has also come out, and all other like movies are there, and other like stuff is there. Like there is enough information out there to go and like talk about like all these things. So the point I'm trying to make is that it's not as if these people have suddenly become saleable. They were always like saleable. The entire family was saleable, right? Like was purchasable. If uh, so, a family which was actually backing Dyer, after Jallianwala Bagh, donating to him, is the same family which has which is like bought by other people and has been backing all the way from the killing of no media actually spoke about any of those like anti-Brahmin massacres that happened after Gandhiji died. Nobody talked about that. The entire media actually like just buried it. Similarly, other massacres that happened, like 1971, like whatever happened there, like it was a Hindu genocide. The Congress party buried that Hindu genocide. They didn't call it Hindu genocide when they should have. And that is why Pakistan went scot-free. And then, all those things that have happened all the time. Now, to expect that they will ever talk any any truth or any facts is like there is no point in even expecting that. Like I think the time has come for them to just be sidelined completely, because they will never speak the truth, and because uh, they have a sense of entitlement. They they cannot bear that a common person can, like, come up like Modi ji and rule the country in a way that he has done. They have tried everything, right? So I think, like, one of the reasons why they have been going after, like, Modi ji is the same thing, that here is a guy after all these years, since even before India was independent till today, till 2014, there was not even a single administration, except for that small part when Lal Bahadur Shastri was there, which was not available for purchase. Every administration in India was always available for purchase, every one of them, and it was very, very tough to rule a country, like, without being impacted by others. And that is where, like, we are today, and that is what see, when, like, Modi ji went to, like, US in the last visit that he came. At that time, Biden was trying to woo him, but, like, Obama came on Christian Amarpour's program and was, like, saying all kinds of things against him. So I was thinking that if you want, like like India, like, if you want to actually create an alliance or create some kind of partnership with India for economic reasons and others, and knowing that, like, Modi is one of the most powerful leader and there's no way he can get out of power, then you have to be an absolute fool, absolute idiot, to say the kind of things that Obama said, because there is no way you can ever approach, like, Modi after saying all that and have any relationship. But why would Obama say that? Because he's not an idiot. He's not a political idiot, but he's still saying it. So why is he saying that? And the only reason I could find is that he was absolutely certain that he would actually be able to throw out Modi ji in 2024 election. In fact, in like Bilderberg, group conferences, they every year they publish their topics. In 2023, the only time India ever figured out in that, like, topics was in 2023, and like, you can easily guess why, right? And so they were very certain that it would happen. It's just God's grace that it didn't, because, like, that is what they have been trying to do.
See,
So,
Desh,
so at that time, I had said, like, I'll just, like, say just one
yeah,
thing. Like,
please,
at that
please.
time, like, I had said that, you know, they want India, but without Modi.
Mm,
That's the problem that they have.
yeah. So if you look at the back history, see, when I was in Iraq, Desh, I was studying in Iraq, and at that time Saddam Hussein was in power, and he was one of the strongest leaders for Iraq. And the way Iraq was progressing, you'd be surprised. They had all these flyovers and all that, and it was progressing very fast. And he was a very dynamic leader. Then, of course, America interfered and they threw him out. Now, this is not the only case. It was also in the case of Libya, when Gaddafi was also thrown out. So then, if you look at so many other cases, if you look at Egypt, you look at now what's happening, in Sri
Syria.
Lanka, and then you look at Bangladesh and now Syria. So I think they've got so used to dictating, what happens in other countries, that they just pluck up the leaders and throw them out, or they make them run away, whatever it is. They feel that they can loot them and they can do what they want in that country. Now, they have failed in the case of India, as you say, because Modi ji is a strong leader. And also the fact that, see, people are quite intelligent and they're able to make out that there has been interference, international interference, by a way of wealth being thrown around. Now, if you look at journalists, Desh, see, you'll find that, see, people who are really genuine journalists do not have much money. They're all just ordinary people with ordinary bank accounts and all that. But if you look at Rajdeep Sardesai, he lives better than even what we would say Arvind Kejriwal, who has a spa and a gym and everything. Now he has a bungalow, and he's got watchmen, and he lives a very, very larger than life image. Now, this how does money come to these journalists? Is it through these sources, Dish?
Yeah, like these are, see, the problem is that what had initially journalism was actually a vocation of middle class people. If you really look at the origins of journalism, if you go back to India's independence struggle, like you'll find, uh, like Sardar Kartar Singh Sarabha, who went to, with the Gadar party. He started a newspaper, the Gadar there. Bhagat Singh, Bhagat Singh wrote for so many newspapers. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Gandhi ji. So many people, like all these people wanted to like say something, and they did not have a whole lot of like resources. They are the ones who started. In fact, if you like go back to 1980s, and if you like remember, like journalists had this image of being the jhola wala, jhola wala guy, like going on a cycle or a scooter, Lambretta or Vespa or something like that, and like going like there. That, like at least in the local, the vernacular, media, that was always the image, right? That is how they used to work. Over time, what has happened is that journalism has ceased to become a voice of the middle class, a voice of the local people. It has become the voice of the elite. So when the elite realize that they have a tool in their hand of
Yeah.
power, they started investing in like in all this. So when India got liberalized, when Doordarshan went away and Star TV and Z TV and all those things came in, at that time the investment was so huge. So they wanted returns. News became a spectacle, and they saw what power it had. So suddenly the journalist actually ceased to like have any relationship with the ground. Most, I mean, there was this like Ravish Kumar, like when he was doing the elections, especially during the COVID time, like he had not gone out of his home for so many like months. But how was he like speaking about those things without going anywhere? Right. So journalism has become a joke like over time. So now when journalism is imploding, especially in the US and outside, because Substack has come, like tools are there now for people to write. A Substack is there, and other like tools are there. So then like it can clearly be seen that like they keep saying, oh, journalism is imploding because there's so much of partisanship. No, it's not because there is so much of partisanship. Partisanship was always there. The reason why it's imploding is because the journalists have absolutely no link to the common person. They, if you, I mean, these are the guys who have regularly misread the elections for last so many years now. How could you do that? How could you be a journalist and still not know which side, like it is like it's not as if they miss by a little, they miss the entire result. Like how could you do that? How could you be so tone deaf? Like I was in India, and there was this very senior like bureaucrat I was talking to, and he was saying like telling me that why don't you write for the American newspapers, and you can refer and like to the articles that are written in the like in Indian media, and craft your stuff. I said, the day, I mean, like you are insulting me, because the day I have to refer to the Indian journalists to write my article, that will be a very sad day,
Mm,
because these guys cannot even ask the right questions,
mm,
and like have absolutely no, I mean, their level of asking questions is less than a third grader. Like that's how bad they are,
mm,
because they just cannot analyze anything. If this was Like if this was the level of analysis in any of the corporate guys, they would have thrown out in the very first week itself. But these are the journalists, the top journalists.
So here, let me just a small interjection. What you say is so true, Desh, because see, when I made a movie on a documentary on a dancer, Kathakali dancer who's got a Padma Shri. The movie was based on his life and the truth about his life, ups, downfalls, and the rise and all that. So at that time, we were in Kalamandalam in Kerala, and we had called for a press conference. Now, as you say, some journalists had come. Of course, they sent their reporters. And when they sent their reporters, now, see, being a journalist myself, I thought, the questions that they would ask would be after they did some research and about the dancer or, the style of the documentary. But they did not have any idea. Living in Kerala, they had no idea even about Kathakali. Kathakali, which is an ancient art in India, which is Keralites are very proud of and showcase wherever they go. They had no idea about what the dance was. They had no idea about the dancer who won a Padma Shri and who's the top in that field. And they were asking me very silly questions. Then I realized, as you said, how low the standards of journalism has gone because they're not interested in that, as you said. See, they're not interested in culture or anything. They just want what is masala. Now, if somebody is fighting politically or some other this thing, they have the channel has an angle. They will tell them you just do this, okay, cover it from this area or cover it from that side. So they're so used to being spoon fed. They don't even have the capacity to ask their own questions, or even judge something, in its entirety. So this is just a small incident that I'm talking to you about. But as you said, we've been watching the way, journalism has stooped so low that everybody, they get so agitated even if you ask questions. As you said very clearly that, see, people are telling you, you do your writing based on, some Indian journalists or whatever. We get a lot of calls. I get very strangely, Desh, I get some calls and they say that, see, we are an event management team and we are doing an event and we need an editor for that. Can you imagine? I mean, I just take the photo and I just keep it. So there are different ways that they want you to fall into a trap and so many other things, because if you've got a reputation, for example, your Drishtikon is very well known and people know the way you write and you're not scared of anybody. You're doing your job very well. So, like you, social media has changed this whole thing because there are some very very strong writers and journalists who are speaking the truth without any fear.
Right.
So do you think that mainstream media has been challenged by this kind of social media?
Yes, it has been, right? Because see, the thing is that mainstream media people, if you really look at them, like whether it is in US, whether it is like the entire West, and even in India, what has happened is they went from a place where they used to report the news to trying to craft a society where they could create the news.
Yeah.
So you understand the difference. Like if you look at Nida Radia tapes, if you look at like how Barkha Dutt would cover, like 2611 and other things, and how COVID was being covered, that they were trying to craft a society where they could create the news as an opinion. So it was not reporting that was going on,
Mm.
and what has happened is that like people have seen through, and there are unfortunately in India, still there are a lot of the gaps in understanding of things, like how the global research like has gone on. Like I was, you were talking about Adani. Why are they like attacking Adani? The reason is because like Adani Group is a national champion corporation, like we discussed earlier. National champion corporation is a standard concept that goes everywhere. Now you can call it crony capitalism because my national champion is my national champion, but your national champion is crony capitalism. That's a okay. वो साडा कुत्ता कुत्ता टोड़ा कुत्ता Tommy वो वाला scene. So the thing is that Like that is like why like we have called it like love jihad, for example. The entire Europe has faced the scourge of grooming gangs. Everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
Like if we had used the same kind of semantics and terminology, then like things would have resonated better with the global audience, which we didn't. And these guys, the journalists, the mainstream media, like who's out there, they have a certain way of bringing you down, and that's how they work. The other people are not trained in those kind of debates. Like if you go around like debating with people, then you get that idea of how like these like what is the process that they follow. So if you start following that process, then they don't stand a chance. And that is the reason why Substack, like which was started, is actually becoming the place to go for most of the journalists. In fact, they have started like something just for India, so that uh, people in India can start writing like real stuff on Substack. In fact, like when I started my newsletter on Substack. But I later on moved to another platform, and that's where it is now. But like people in India can do that, and like they can create that, and there's local coverage. So today, when you look at X, or what used to be Twitter, like it is the largest news media today. The largest news media. People go to X for news, not the mainstream media. And that is because the citizen journalism has become much more effective, like much better. Like there was that like famous exchange between the BBC and like Elon Musk. So BBC guy was saying, well, there is no fact checking there. So he said, I can tell you so many instances where BBC has gone wrong. So have you apologized? Have you brought that out? Like you haven't, but you were wrong, right? So who decides? And that is a very important point. Like who decides? Like these people who have been bought, or the common people? So I think there is a change that is happening. It will probably take 5 to 10 years, but in those years, mainstream media will have a major problem, and that is the reason why they have come up with it, like with this farce called fact checking. These fact checkers are also backed by Soros, actually.
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
really look at it, like it's also like backed by them, and they wanted to, like I call this a righteousness framework of power. Righteousness in the Christian theology means that the ability to be justified and to speak the truth. So in theology, in the Christian theology, it is said that only God is righteous. Only God can say things like which can be justified or which are truth. Human beings cannot. So by that association, only Jesus was the living person who could have said the truth. The only way you can like so that imputed righteousness comes to human beings when they submit themselves to Jesus. That's how the theology works. Like where do you get this like information from Bible? So this is how it works. So there is a Jesus, there is a Bible, and there is righteousness. So if you really look at it, it's like UN, like UN is like Jesus. UN Charter is like the Bible, and you have to submit to the UN
Mm.
to like be righteous. Like same way it works in like even yoga now. There is a Yoga Alliance. If you are a teacher from Yoga Alliance, only then you can teach. So it is like
Yeah.
that. So similarly here, there's a fact checker.
Mm.
Like fact checking organization, and they have a report. So they have created a Jesus, they have created a Bible, and that's how this whole work, the framework of power works, and that is how it is going on now. So people will break away from it. I think one of the greatest thing that has happened in the last, like for this generation, for the world, is that Elon Musk bought X or Twitter.
Also, you'll find a lot of details coming out from mainstream media, whether it's Arnab's channel or any other channel. Now they are actually asking you please watch this episode or watch this video, and which means their TRP is falling. And also the fact that, see, I remember very clearly when the Sushant Singh Rajput case was being discussed with a lot of fire, till of course they were all silenced. And Navika was online and from Times, and she was speaking, and suddenly she got a call from a top lawyer, and she just mid sentence stopped and did not pursue that topic at all. I mean, we were all shocked because we know who the lawyer is, you know, and why she kept quiet. And so, what is happening, Desh, is that there is a very sudden change in now, because people are very, very, they know what to watch. So, when you want to watch something, you just go straight away to YouTube, you type what you want, and you get it within 10-15 minutes. Now, what mainstream media has done is they've realized the power of YouTube, and what they've done is they've tried to now cash in onto that. So they take their topics and they put it there, thinking that, see, they'll get hits because of just being that 10-minute or 5-minute, focusing on that topic. So you see how, as you said, not only Twitter or whatever X, has changed the way people think because it's become the main news portal. Also, the fact that, see, people do not rely anymore on mainstream media because they know they're biased, and there are so many people breathing down their neck, and this is all, of course, money related. And whereas you have YouTubers who are not funded by anybody, they are telling you the truth, and if you don't like it, just go to another YouTube channel. So they have so much of choice, and this itself, because I know for a fact, let me tell you something, Desh. See, if I invite any of these politicians, on my channel, look at both the parties, or the BJP or the opposition. If I invite them to come and speak, none of them will come. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you are saying that you're in a democracy, you can speak the way you want to speak the truth, then why are you hesitant to come into a channel? I'm not saying that it's because I'm bold or what I'm speaking the truth. No, I'm just asking you your opinion. So if
Right.
you are saying that you are, a party that wants to bring in, a difference, its truth and everything, then you should be the first one to come on our channel and explain what's happening.
Right.
Okay, but they want to use you in different ways, to make their party strong, which is not happening. You see, you're getting exposed all the time.
Right.
So, as you say, there has been a huge difference in the way media is being, watched, and how they are being slaughtered. So, and of course, people like yourself are also, speaking in detail, doing your research, and in detail, you are, saying what's the background. So, what happens is that the common man, understands much better when he's reading your blog, or listening to you on a certain channel. They understand much better than these what you call these debates, bashing debates that happen in mainstream media at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So I think the TRP has also started falling very badly, and now they are facing the repercussions of these kind of interferences, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I mean, like, even when I um, like started writing this, like, really long form, like, newsletters with evidence, that is how I wanted to write. Like, I remember, like, a couple of years back, like, I had gone to India, and I was actually having a discussion with my own sister, and she was telling me, why don't you write, like, shorter stuff so that people can easily digest it. I said, that is exactly what I don't want to do. I want to write things for people who are serious,
Yes.
for people who want to do their own research. And that is why I keep saying to everyone, take my stuff. I have a lot of links, a lot of evidence in it. Go take it and use it the way you want to use it. Do some more research. In fact, for a long time, I used to even publish all the links. I mean, if I read like 50 different articles, I reference only, say, 10 or 5, out of that. So I used to publish all the links of all the 50 of them. Yeah, go ahead and do your own research, and come up with something different. And I'm not making stuff up. It is not an opinion that I'm writing. I'm actually like doing research, like putting the evidence in there, and like none of it is just made up. For example, I'll give you a very like simple example. When I was 9/11, the guy, so Muhammad Atta was sent like $100,000 by the ISI chief, Lieutenant General Mahmood, through Omar Syed. Now, I'm not making this up. Like, it was there in CNN, it was there in Guardian, it was there in Wall Street Journal. I have all the links. I have put it in there. And then, like, Muhammad Atta actually shared that money with all the other hijackers. And 2 days before or 3 days before, he took all the remaining money and wired it back to Omar Syed. So I'm not making it up. It's already there, but people are not looking at that. People are not even, bringing that up. So if they had, then instead of attacking Afghanistan, US would have attacked Pakistan. But they didn't. But nobody asked those questions. So that is what I'm trying to say. That like it's up to us for to do the right research. Like when I'm doing my research at that time, like if I change the timeline of Google search from all the way from today till say 2010, the answers I get are very, very different from what I get today. But that's how it is.
So we'll end on that note. Thank you so much, Desh. Always very interesting talking to you. And whenever you speak, we learn a lot more about what's happening. And so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Good night. Jai Hind
Good night.
and Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.